Okay.
If you're taking anatomy and physiology for the first time, I can guarantee it's not
Let's
like
get
any
a
course that you've
breakdown
ever
of this
taken.
stuff.
And that's why so
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Y'all enjoy this.
The week before the first day of my first year of teaching, well, over a decade ago, was an exciting time. It was also stressful because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but a bit of a messy, unable to decorate my classroom kind of perfectionist. Actually, maybe I'm not a perfectionist. I wanted to make my classroom inviting and exciting, and I really wanted my students to walk in and think, this is amazing. I could never make it look like what I imagined up. But the most amazing thing did happen in the week to follow. I knew a colleague who had a friend who had a son who was going to college. Confusing. But anyway, that son could not take his pet snake to college with him. Some rule about dorms and snakes. My colleague asked, would you like it? They said they can give you the cage and everything. It could be a classroom pet. I didn't even have to think about it, of course. So Spike, a Texas rat snake, became a classroom pet. An amazing, popular one at that. He was friendly, well, for a snake. He'd let you hold him and not bite. That year I was the only one in the science wing with a pet snake, and I'm pretty sure there were some people that wondered, what was the point? Well, I'm big on relevance, so anytime I would teach a biology concept, I found some way to work in Spike. Predation? Well, let's talk about Spike's appetite for rats. Mitosis? Let's talk about why Spike even needs to make more cells. One day in tutorials, a student asked me, since Spike's parents were bred in captivity, did you ever see Spike's parents? Do you think Spike's parents looked like him? You can't ask a question like that and not expect an answer. It was a great question because we were getting close to our heredity unit. Heredity is about how traits are passed down from parent to offspring. We've made a playlist of our videos that focus on heredity, including reproduction, how to track inheritance and pedigrees, how to solve genetic problems in Punnett squares, and understanding different Mendelian and non-Mendelian inheritance. But you really can't delve into those and study heredity without understanding DNA, chromosomes, genes, and traits. And that's what this introductory video is going to focus on. So back to the student question. Spike has traits. The patterns on his body, his size, these traits are coded for in his DNA. Some of the traits he inherited can be influenced by the environment. For example, if Spike had not had the nourishment he needed, that could affect his size. DNA is not just one big code buried deep down in an organism like some treasure. Spike's DNA is in the nuclei of nearly all of his body cells. He inherited his DNA from his mother and father. I can't know for sure what Spike's parents look like, but I do know that Spike inherited his DNA from them. One fun fact, many snake species can reproduce asexually. Had that been the case for Spike, he would have inherited all of his DNA from only one parent. But it would still be DNA coding for traits. Just like Spike, your DNA codes for your traits, and your cells can't function without it. DNA determines how tall you are, what color your eyes are, what color your hair is,
Right.
or even if you're at risk for certain diseases. Also, like Spike, your entire DNA code is in most of your body cells. That's why in those crime-solving shows, which we may or may not absolutely love, a criminal can sometimes be caught by just leaving a cell from a hair follicle behind. DNA has a beautiful structure, and that structure will help you understand how inheritance works. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. It's a
Deoxyribonucleic
type of
acid.
nucleic acid. If you remember from our
Hold on, sorry.
biomolecules, nucleic acid. It's a type of nucleic acid. If you remember from our biomolecules video, nucleic acids are a type of biomolecule. Nucleic acids are made up of building blocks called nucleotides. Nucleotides have three parts. One of them is a sugar called
I need to pay
deoxyribose.
attention to
One of
this.
them is a
Hold on.
phosphate
I'm
part
sorry,
made up
y'all.
of building blocks called nucleotides. Nucleotides have three molecules video. Nucleic acids are a type of biomolecule. Nucleic acids are made up of building blocks.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. It's good to be in here. Let me get just a taste of music going for myself. Hey, hey, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but I can hear it. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Expansion Pack. Like I said, I'm your host, Dan F. Man. This episode 85 here on a Tech Tuesday. We gaining control today. Gaining control. You gonna take it? Gain control. hold of it. Give me here. I got it. Thank y'all for tuning in again. I ain't gonna delay y'all no longer. I'm gonna go ahead and get into this motivation. Hey, what's up? Oh, good to have you in here. I'm gonna go ahead and jump straight into the motivation. Let's go.
Specific AI specialization need.
Contained and our talents minimized. The approval of others. Sometimes success is merely hanging on when others would let go. Not doing anything spectacular or out of the ordinary. Not leaping a mile or jumping over a mountain. But simply carrying on. Thomas Edison has a famous quote that's really stuck with me over the years. He says, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." Right? How close they were to the finish line when they turned their back and said it wasn't worth it. It's really an interesting thing to grasp. Right? Success is seeing what others can't. It's believing when others don't. It's taking the abstract, those visions, those pictures in your head, the make-believe, and finding the courage to make them real, bring them to life. It's this constantly evolving process, and it grows a little bit every single day. Sometimes we feel that progress, we feel the momentum, we do something big and it's exciting. And sometimes the progress feels small. And then there are times when we get knocked down and we don't see it at all. We feel like because we weren't validated that we lost. That we failed, that it wasn't enough. We forget that's part of the process, that progress is a journey. And it
You do this, you won't have to worry about money again. Fly GTI. There's one thing that I did.
goes when you go, and it stops when you stop. Just like that famous Dalai Lama quote, right? The only way to fail is to quit. Period. No one ever stops because they can't. They stop because they decide to. They stop because they see that huge mountain and they think that's impossible. They forget it's only made of little rocks. They stop because they get so disheartened by the distance of the finish line that they forget it only takes a collection of little steps to get there. You don't have to leap the entire distance. You know, I've been there, right? This is me speaking from experience. It took me years to figure it out. And even now, life is rapidly evolving. I've poured my heart into things that, let's be honest, no one cared about. I've invested in opportunities that fell apart right in front of me. And each time it felt like the end of the world. You know, I've been lost. I've been unsure. Gotten up after things didn't go as planned and felt like a loser. I had to look myself in the mirror and pick myself back up off the floor. But there's one thing that I kept doing that I never thought twice about. And that's continuing on. Whether life lifted me up or it beat me down, my plan for tomorrow was always the same. Get up and try again. Keep going. And as I sat down this morning with my pen and a piece of paper, I thought, what's the one thing I would want to be told if I started out again? What's the one thing that people need to hear most? And it's to simply keep going. Keep taking steps. Because one day the world will start to make sense. And you'll look around and you will be thankful for one thing. That when most would have stopped, you didn't. When the world said no, you said yes. There is nothing so powerful as a soul that refuses to back down. See, persistence is not an important thing or an essential thing. It's everything. So live as to see, not what can be lost, but what will be gained. Find that light in darkness, even if it's a flicker, even if it's a spark. See, every loss makes you a little tougher, and every instant of sadness uncovers something beautiful. Every moment of fear teaches you to be a little braver. Every broken heart opens the door to a new connection. Instead of doubting yourself, feeling inadequate in life's darkest moments, know that you need what you are going through. You are uncovering the little victories hidden in plain view. So when the world feels like too much and your patience is thin, be stronger than that voice in your head begging you to think small. Stand on every experience, the good and the bad. Let it elevate you to a beautiful tomorrow.
Good work. Good work. That's 5 minutes of that right there. All right, so we gaining control today, and it's Tech Tuesday. So let's see what's up. What we can do. How can we use the tech we got? Let's see. Use your computer to build a schedule. Oh, Lord. But that's pretty cool, though. Should you buy... How did that come up? Okay. Let's go.
This is how we made our workflow better than ever with Monday.com. It gave our team
A lot of time management advice we get from productivity gurus were not meant for students. For example, delegation.
Now, as somebody who runs their own business, I delegate things like checking my email or editing this video, for example. Maybe you have a lawn that you don't want to mow.
What are students able to delegate? Are you gonna have your little brother go to class for you? Another example is hell yes or no.
Hell yeah or no, just like learning to be okay with saying no to stuff. If I get an email from someone saying, hey, do you want to do this thing? And I'm thinking, maybe it sounds kind of all right, then my default position is going to be no.
Everything is an obligatory hell yes for a student. When can we ever say, no, I don't want to take this exam, or meh, I don't feel like studying? So instead, here's a time management framework that's actually built for students, and it's part of our ongoing series, Study Skills. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me explain. For this method, you only need to master one skill that will make time management easier over the long run, and that is understanding how long it really takes for you to do something. Our brains are really bad at estimating this, so pay attention to how long it takes you, especially for things that you do often. For example, going to the gym actually includes getting ready, driving to the gym, and washing up after. Or eating lunch actually includes preparing the food or waiting in line to pay for it. The best thing to do is to literally time yourself. I used to always overestimate how long it would take me to do reading assignments or to do 20 flashcards. But after timing myself, I realized that I can get a lot of work done in all the random bits of time throughout the day, like in between classes or on the bus ride home, that would have otherwise been wasted. Next, you'll only need 2 items to carry out this entire time management system: a calendar and a piece of paper.
Yes, sir.
Or you can use your smartphone if you have
Yes,
one.
sir.
But don't worry about all these fancy to-do list apps and routine trackers and stuff like that. If you can master this analog method, then you can later customize it and make it as sophisticated as you need it to be. Now, there are 3 steps to this time management system. This is based off Cal Newport's book, so shout out to him. The 3 steps are: number 1, whenever a new task or assignment comes up throughout the day, you want to quickly jot it down on your piece of paper. For me, the hardest part about this entire system is just remembering to write things down on the spot. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. Step 2 happens the next morning. You want to plan your day based on what needs to be done. And step 3 is to move all other tasks to future dates in the calendar. So I'm going to show you an example of what the 3 steps look like in action, but I want to emphasize 4 rules that really made this system work for me especially when I was studying for my dual degrees. First rule is it has to be flexible. We're not trying to be Elon Musk and plan every minute of our day in order to run 4 companies at the same time. We're students. We need to be ready on a moment's notice when our friends hit us up for an impromptu ramen run. The second rule is it needs to be easy to restart after periods of neglect. I love this idea. It's also from Cal Newport. We're human, we're not perfect, we're going to miss days, and that's okay. But once you've seen how organization can change your life, you're gonna have a hard time going long periods of time without it. Number 3 is it has to reduce stress, and we do this by offloading all the things we need to remember onto our paper. Having obligations and deadlines kind of floating around in your head is exhausting. Plus, it makes it impossible to relax when you want to. As author David Allen says, your mind is for having ideas, not holding them. So this is why we want to immediately record any tasks or deadlines that we get and offload them from our brain. And 4, it has to prioritize our tasks. It's impossible to do everything. We can't manage to go to every party or join every club. Sometimes it's not even possible to do every single assignment for every class. So we have to pick and choose what's important to us. So that's why this method consolidates all our options and clearly displays in front of us so that we can make informed decisions when it matters. With these rules in mind, let's look at a typical Thursday for young college Maddie.
Maddie wakes up at 8:30 a.m. for class at 9. He starts by pulling out his list from yesterday, containing all the tasks that he had recorded throughout the day. Now he looks at his calendar to see what's already been scheduled. He has class at 9 and 11 a.m. There are dinner plans with his friends at 7 p.m., then a party for the newly matched rookies at 9 p.m. He wants to go to the gym before dinner, so he plans to have all of his schoolwork done by 5 p.m. Now he looks at all the tasks that need to be done. Biology assignment due today, calculus problem set due tomorrow, script a YouTube video, return Breath of the Wild to Kev, or keep it and buy the DLC, buy his big bro Mike a new iPad for his birthday, find a summer internship, and make lo-fi beats for a study with me video. Now Maddie just needs to fit the most important tasks into the open slots. Luckily, Maddie has developed the skill of knowing exactly how much time it takes for him to do certain tasks, so this step is a breeze. He can finish the biology assignment and submit it in between class. He can also do some random chores in this hour, like returning the video game or slaying Ganon for the 50th time this week. It would likely take him about 2 hours each to do calculus and script the YouTube video, so he schedules them both after lunch. That takes him up to 5 p.m. and probably all the time he has for today. The other things on the list can get pushed to future dates because they aren't as urgent. And that's it. Maddie spent less than 5 minutes recording his task and planning his day, all while dropping off the kids at school. But of course, his schedule doesn't always go according to plan, but it's flexible enough that nothing will get missed. He returns Breath of the Wild to Kev, but they end up playing a little too long and go for an impromptu late lunch. Then they find out that Techno is working on the calculus problem set, so Maddie rearranges his schedule. He only has a little time before the calculus study group, so he'll get as much of the YouTube script done as possible and finish the rest tomorrow.
Imagine what life would have been like if he didn't have such a flexible time management system. He'd probably forget all the menial tasks and allow them to build up. Plus, he'd be more stressed when last-minute study sessions arise. But he kept his cool throughout the day. He was able to record new tasks onto his list so that he can plan again the next morning, and the whole process starts over. If this was helpful, let us know by liking the video, and here I have another simple tutorial video to help make academy life a little less chaotic. Check it out, and I'll see you there.
Students with ADHD.
Putting this one into the rotation. Y'all go check it out later. If y'all ever was wondering, you can go on to the DGTA. Hold on, let me get my screen back up for you. You can go on to the DGTA YouTube channel, and you can actually go under playlist, and you can see most of these videos that we watching. The ones that I really liked, I put them under that playlist. It's called Expansion Pack. Not the one for the podcast, for the actual show, but underneath it should be a playlist of videos. If it's not private, let me check it out for myself. Channel. Yep. Let me see. You go over to our, page, and you click playlist, and there it is. I put it on the main page for y'all as well. So you can find some of the hottest videos that we done watched right there. So now, one way you can gain control, and we're not talking about necessarily just your life, just gaining control of anything, your business, your life, your family, your relationship, I believe is by time management. So that's why I watch the using your computer or whatever to build a schedule. So now, and I gotta incorporate Tech Tuesdays, of course. So now, gaining control of your mind. Emotions. Hold on, let's watch and see what bro was talking about.
I'm not going to waste your time. Most of our mental suffering comes from this one thing. That one thing is mindlessly following what your thoughts say. Most people don't know this, but your thoughts are not on your side. They have their own various agendas that are not always aligned with what is best for you. The key to success in any aspect of life, and the key to eliminating your mental suffering, is mastering your thoughts. After you finish this video, you will have a different view on life, and you will know how to start mastering your thoughts. The first thing you need to understand is that you are not your thoughts. I want you to close your eyes for a second. Just observe your thoughts. You should notice an endless conveyor belt of thoughts that keep flowing. I want you to try and stop these thoughts. Try and think nothing for 30 seconds. Impossible, right? If you aren't creating these thoughts and you can't stop them, how could they possibly be you? So what are you then? You are the observer of them. You are the person standing at the conveyor belt of thoughts, choosing which thoughts to give power to. 99% of people have no idea about this. Most people think that these thoughts are them. They stand right at the conveyor belt, giving power and attention to every thought that flows down it. This is extremely detrimental, and it leads to absurd amounts of suffering. If they get a thought telling them to be stressed, they listen. If they get a thought telling them to indulge in addiction, they listen. If they get a thought cutting them down, they listen to that too. How can you get anywhere in life when this is how you operate? I was like this for the vast majority of my life. For the longest time, I was no different than a robot, blindly obeying my thoughts and living in the terrible state that put me in. Everyone should be standing far away from the conveyor belt, only giving power and attention to thoughts that serve them. Become the observer of your thoughts. Don't be at their mercy. When you do this, you can notice when a negative thought surfaces and consciously starve it of attention, not giving it any power. These thoughts rely on your power and attention to survive. When you remove those things, they have no choice but to starve and die off. The human mind is an incredibly complex system. It's almost impossible to understand each thought's reason for appearing. Instead, I'll give you a mental model to observe your thoughts through. Imagine there are two aspects of you, your higher self and your lower self. Your higher self wants you to pursue your absolute highest potential to the best of your ability. It wants nothing but the best for you. Your lower self wants comfort and instant gratification, and it will relentlessly pursue that even if it destroys you. As you can see, these two sides have conflicting interests. The war between your higher and lower self is always happening within you, and your thoughts are the soldiers that they use to fight for them. Every single one of your thoughts is a part of this war. The two sides fight by sending thoughts down the endless conveyor belt to sway you into acting the way that they want you to. It's like in cartoons where there's a scene of an angel and a devil on the character's shoulders, trying to persuade the character into acting a certain way. You are the observer and the one really in control. You control your attention, and when you give attention to a thought, you empower the side of you that sent it. When a side is empowered, it has an easier time swaying you, and you become more like that side. When you listen to thoughts sent by your lower self, you become more like the lower self, chasing comfort and instant gratification. The direction of your life literally depends on this war. We want the higher self to win the war. So how do you go about destroying the lower self? You have to start by understanding it fully. It sounds nice and easy at first because obviously you don't want to become like the lower self, but it's not that simple. If you're used to listening to the lower self and acting how it wants you to act, it will be difficult to change. Right now, you are probably easily manipulated by the lower self because the thoughts it sends are very enticing. When it sends you a thought about comfort or pleasure, you will be drawn to it. It will sound nice to go sit down and watch Netflix rather than start working. The lower self knows exactly what to say to make you give in. You have to start to understand what evil really lies behind that thought. To the lower self, it doesn't matter if you have no money, no partner, and no friends, so long as you have a way to be comfortable and get cheap pleasure. The lower self works tirelessly to bring its paradigm paradise into fruition. When you give a thought sent by the lower self any attention, you are empowering it, letting it continue to work towards its paradise. Without a doubt, 100% of the time, this happens. There's no way around it. You cannot give in to the lower self, or it will only get stronger in its pursuit of your destruction. This might all sound like a joke or an exaggeration, but it is very serious. To succeed in any part of life, change is necessary. Comfort is the mortal enemy of change. To succeed in any part of life, it takes patience and consistency because nothing is instant. Instant pleasure is the complete opposite of that. It doesn't matter what your definition of success is, this still applies. The lower self is the complete inversion of what it takes to succeed. You cannot afford to feed it ever again. The first step to winning this war is understanding the seriousness of what I've just explained. The second step to destroying your lower self is to never give attention to a thought sent by it. This is easier said than done, but you get much better over time. You need to start by being able to identify which thoughts to give attention to. Looking through the mental model of the higher and lower self, you should be able to easily distinguish if a thought has your best interest in mind. You must still think critically though. Thoughts can deceive you and won't always plainly indicate their motive. You might think a thought of fear is your higher self trying to protect you, but it is really your lower self trying to keep you comfortable. You might think a thought congratulating you on your progress is your higher self, but it is really your lower self trying to get you to slow down, stay comfortable, and reward yourself with pleasure. You know a thought is trying to trick you when it leads to an action that the lower self would want you to take. Always follow the chain of actions that the thought is trying to lead you down. For example, when I used to consume adult content, sometimes I would get a thought telling me to open Reddit and browse a regular forum. I knew that if I followed that thought, I would get more and more thoughts, each of which inching me closer and closer to ending up on adult content again. The lower self has all the time in the world, and it knows what to say to make you do what it wants. It can play the long game, sending you one thought, which leads to another thought, and another, leading you on a string right to where it wants you to be. You will get better at understanding which thoughts to give attention to as you become better at being the observer and separating yourself from your thoughts. After you identify that a thought is trying to manipulate you, you have to firmly put yourself in the position of the observer. Completely withdraw your attention from the thought. No arguing, no correcting, no judging. Just cut off all your attention and bring it back to the present moment. There are a number of ways you can do this, but the most common is manual breathing. The thought will always pass. Just stay focused on the present moment as long as you need to. You might get other thoughts that try and correct or argue with the manipulative thought, but these are also a trap. Remember, you are the observer of your thoughts and never the thoughts themselves. I've faced thousands of thoughts like these before. People like to believe that these thoughts are more powerful than them, but they aren't. It is always your choice in the end. It is always 100% of the time your choice. I've relapsed on my past addictions many times before, and every single time it was because I folded and gave in to these manipulative thoughts sent by the lower self. You are the one in control. You decide whether you end up as your lower self or your higher self. The truth about conquering these thoughts is that you won't always win. Even though it is your choice, you will give in sometimes. The goal is to win against these thoughts as much as you can. Even the most disciplined and successful person succumbs to the lower self sometimes. The key is that they win 9 out of 10 times so that one loss doesn't affect them that much. Most people win 0 out of 10 times and just give in right away when their lower self tells them to. It's a muscle that must be trained just like working out. Every time you successfully withdraw your attention and return to the present moment, you get a bit better. Meditation is insanely good for this. When you meditate, you practice taking your power back away from your thoughts by focusing on the present moment when you feel a thought surface. As you keep at this process of no longer listening to the thoughts sent by the lower self, you will get better at understanding your thought patterns. Always write down what you observe about yourself so you never forget it. And remember, failure is never a bad thing. Every single failure brings you one step closer to mastery. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and then go watch another one of my old ones. Subscribe if you really liked the video and you look forward to learning more next time. I hope you enjoyed.
That wasn't a bad 10 minutes spent. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna watch Sadhguru. Let me see. Gain control of your job. Let me see how you gain control of your job.
Hi, this is Barb Goldman.
What's up,
Work is
Barb
hell.
Goldman? What's up,
And
Barbara?
not all the time, but whenever there's change, there could be a lot of suffering.
Right.
And I want to go through this to show you some ideas about what to do about making everything better. And also, I'd like to show you this so that when we meet, you can think about where you want to start. Okay, you're suffering at work when you feel uncertainty, when you feel lack of trust, when you have any kind of fear of any kind of supervisor or the board or whatever. That's suffering. Anger, when you're angry and you can't control the situation, this is going to cause suffering. This is all emotional. Negativity, and this is all a feeling of a loss of control. Now, to be happy, show you what we have to do. Gain control. You must gain control of your life and control of your career. You may feel very much, I don't know why. Okay, gain control. There you go. Lean out, and the way you're going to control is this. You're either going to lean out, lean in, or use leverage. It's important to control your situation. Do you want to lean in? To change your situation for the more positive, if leaning in will help you, let's do it. When you lean in, you're going to control what you can. You're going to use leadership communication techniques, repair relationships, and learn how to lead vertically and horizontally. Every relationship counts. In order to lean in, let's say you're going through enormous changes at work, you are suffering, there's something that needs to change. You want to lean in because you want to stay with the company.
Yes, sir.
You need to be sincere about change. You need
Yes,
to focus on what you can control and ignore what you can't control. You need to learn new strategies for communication, and we'll work on that. We need to talk about how you communicate and how to do better so that you can influence people. How to leave your ego at the door. Your ego means nothing and gets in your way. We got to get outside of yourself and fix the relationships, fix any conflicts. And this is something that I will work with you on. And this is really tough stuff to learn in the beginning, but once you do it, it's magical. Magic words to change your life. Now, if you can control nothing, you can't lean in. If it's totally out of your control, or if you have a very bad conflicts but you want to stay with this company, then this is the time to work on yourself. You need to learn to adapt to the culture. Learn and understand the culture and what's going around you. Repair your relationships and decide if you're the problem. That's easy. When you're the problem, it's easy to fix. When you're leaning out, the first thing to do is take a lower profile now. Don't have so many opinions.
Right.
Stop talking and begin communicating. You want to stay with this company, so focus on your own leadership development. This is enriching. This will help you. When the culture changes, you have to adapt because the culture isn't going to adapt to you.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have to learn these things. Also, use different ways of influencing people. There are magic words you can use. There are tools that you can use that will help you be more influential at work and make positive leadership moves. And really, any response that you may have, you can control. So when you're leaning out, you are taking a lower profile and working on yourself. But don't confuse this for what they call that quiet quitting. No, 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 no. You're going to get better during this time and do better during this time. Now, if things have changed, you're miserable, you have tried everything that you can try, or the situation is just hopeless at work, then get out of there.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't suffer. You don't have to.
Yes, ma'am.
Use the leverage of being employed to move to your next role.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can do that internally, or you can do it outside of the company. There's a lot of ways to use that leverage. Reality is you are more valuable employed.
Yes, ma'am.
And once you're unemployed, well, it's too complicated. You have too much explaining to do. You'll lose salary gains. Very, very, very often you'll lose salary gains. So while you're employed, you're going to use that leverage of employment, and you are going to discreetly start looking for your next role. And that would be when we decide to exit.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, here's some rules of engagement. In order to make leadership work, in order to make this coaching work, you have to realize you can't change anyone. You have to ignore what you can't control. Be willing to learn new ways, because I'm going to teach you new things. Also, temper your feelings. Don't make your feelings so important.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, when your feelings are the most important thing, you're not doing business. And the last rule,
ma'am.
Just because you believe something doesn't make it true for everyone. Or just because you believe something doesn't make it true in this instance. Okay? I want you to think about all of this. And as I have told you before, the leadership program is a lab. Now you're going to tell me what we're going to work on. And it's going to be the current situations. We're going to resolve conflict. We're going to repair relationships. We're going to strategize. We're going to deal with these feelings that you have. We're going to deal with perceptions that may be off.
Yes, ma'am.
Your goals, and really tackle those roadblocks. So in the lab, again, we don't just meet to talk. We meet because something is happening. Something isn't right. There is some reason that we need to meet and make positive change. So that's what it means for the executive leadership is a lab.
Yes, ma'am.
And we are devoted to quick change
What do you bring to the lab?
and positive change and your executive leadership. If you'd like to talk about any of these things, there's the button below. So schedule with me. Talk to you later.
That's my girl. Hey, look at Barb done dropped it on you. Yay. Let me see something. Let's watch this real
Accelerated degrees in cybersecurity. ECPI University.
ECPI in it. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven.
Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a rut, watching days blend into each other, with your dreams seeming just out of reach? It's like no matter what you do, you're running in place, not getting any closer to where you want to be. Frustrating, isn't it? But here's a thought. What if the key to unlocking all those dreams and goals isn't found in the hustle and grind, but within the power of your own mind, or more specifically, the power of visualization? Buddha wisely said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." And this is something that we modern-era people didn't understand but has been practiced for thousands of years in the past. Visualization is like discovering a hidden path in a dense forest. William James, a wise old philosopher, once said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind." This is where visualization shines. It's a potent tool that can transform the landscape of your life in incredible ways. Think of it as an architect drawing a blueprint before the actual building takes shape. You're the architect here, and your dreams are the structures you're going to build. So how do you change the game of your life? That's what this video is all about. Keep watching until the end, because we are going to explore how the power of visualization can be your secret weapon to breaking free from the rut and stepping into a life where dreams don't just stay dreams. But to get to that point, let's first understand visualization itself. Well, you can imagine visualization like a superpower we all have, but maybe we've just forgotten how to use it. You know, when you daydream, maybe about lounging on a sunny beach or nailing that job interview, that's visualization. But it's more than just daydreaming. It's like creating a movie in your mind, where you're the director, the scriptwriter, and the star. Visualization is about seeing the life you want, in your head, down to the tiniest detail. It's like picturing yourself holding that diploma, feeling the joy, seeing the proud smiles of your family. Or maybe you're visualizing crossing the finish line of a marathon, feeling that rush of achievement. It's all about creating these clear, vivid pictures in your mind. But it's not just about seeing it, it's about feeling it, believing it. When you visualize, you're not just watching a scene, you're in it. You can feel the sand between your toes, hear the crowd cheering, smell the fresh paint in your new house. Your brain starts to think, hey, this feels real. And that's where the magic begins. And this, my friend, can change things for you, big time. For instance, picture yourself healthy and strong. Studies have shown that when people visualize themselves healthy, their bodies start to believe it. Your mind is a powerful ally in healing and staying fit. Or maybe you dreamed of financial freedom. Visualize it. See yourself as a successful person, handling money wisely, living comfortably. It's like setting the GPS for your financial journey. Also, whether you're looking for love or want to strengthen your current relationships, picture happy, loving, fulfilling relationships. Visualization can help. Got goals? Visualize them. Want to write a book, start a business, or learn a new skill? See yourself doing it, succeeding at it. Visualization can help in all these areas of your life. So we've just explored how getting crystal clear about what you want is the first big step. And how can you do it? This is where you need to understand the actual process of visualization. Think of it as crafting your personal masterpiece. It might seem a bit tricky at first, but stick with it and soon you'll be painting your future with ease. Now, to start, you have to first create your dream blueprint, or what we call idealization. For it, picture yourself as an architect. Before building anything, you need a blueprint, right? Idealization is just that. It's where you dream big and get specific about what you want. Instead of a broad, I want to be happy, you zoom in. Ask yourself, what exactly does happiness mean to me? Is it having a fulfilling career, a loving family, traveling the world? This step is super important because it sets the stage. It tells your brain, hey, this is what we're aiming for. It's like programming your internal GPS with the exact coordinates of your destination. Next, we come to clarity and consistency. This duo is the heart and soul of visualization. Clarity means being as detailed as possible. Imagine painting a picture in your mind. You want to see all the colors, feel the emotions, hear the sounds. The clearer the image, the more real it becomes in your mind. Consistency is like adding fuel to your visualization. You've got this vivid image. Now keep revisiting it. It's like watering a plant or working out at the gym. The more you do it, the stronger and more vivid the image becomes. Make it a daily habit, like brushing your teeth or checking your phone. Over time, this constant mental rehearsal starts to reshape your reality. Next, you will need to put this into practice. Ready for a little exercise?
Let's go.
Imagine you're standing on a snow-covered mountainside. Close your eyes for a moment. See the endless expanse of white snow around you. Feel the crisp, cold air on your skin. Hear the soft crunch of snow under your feet. Smell the fresh pine in the air. Notice the sensation of warmth despite the cold. Wrapped up in your cozy winter gear, this exercise isn't just a fun getaway for your mind, it's training. You're teaching your brain to create and believe in a new reality. The more vividly you can imagine it, the more real it becomes to you, and the stronger the impact on your mindset and your life. Remember, the process of visualization is like learning a new language. It takes practice, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be amazed at the conversations you can have with your future self.
This is what Ivy League universities you can get into with a 3.6 GPA. 90%.
Keep at it, and soon you'll be living out those dreams you've so vividly painted in your mind. But what happens next? How does this whole visualization thing really change things for you? Let's talk about that. Remember that quote by James Aller? He said, "You are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you." This hits the nail on the head when we talk about the impact of visualization. It's all about transforming your thoughts. When you visualize, you're not just daydreaming, you're actively sculpting your future. Think about it. If you spend your time imagining success, happiness, health, and love, your mind starts to move in that direction. You begin to think differently, see things differently. It's like you're planting seeds in a garden. The more you nurture these thoughts, the more they grow, and eventually they start to blossom into reality. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it's a powerful shift. You start to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. Challenges become stepping stones, not roadblocks. It's like wearing a new pair of glasses that makes everything clearer and more achievable. Now let's talk about the real powerhouse behind all this, your subconscious mind. This part of your brain is like the engine room of a ship. It keeps everything running, even though you might not be aware of it. Your subconscious mind is incredibly powerful in shaping your reality. It's like a faithful servant. It listens to what you feed it through your thoughts and then works tirelessly to make that your reality. When you visualize, you're giving instructions to your subconscious. You're saying, "This is what I want to achieve." And here's the amazing part. Your subconscious doesn't really know the difference between reality and imagination. When you visualize something vividly, your subconscious starts to act as if it's real. It begins to align your actions, your habits, and even attract circumstances that help make your visualization come true. And this is where the real change happens. As you continue visualizing, you're programming your subconscious to recognize and seize opportunities that align with your goals. Your subconscious mind starts navigating the best route to get you there, avoiding traffic jams and roadblocks along the way. This is where the true power of visualization lies. It's not just about seeing a pretty picture in your mind. It's about changing your inner programming, the very blueprint of your thoughts and beliefs. As you change these, you begin to change the world around you. Opportunities that were once invisible to you start to become visible. People who can help you reach your goals begin to appear in your life. It's almost like the universe rearranges itself to make your dreams come true. But again, you've got to trust the process. Just like a seed buried in soil, you might not see immediate results, but under the surface, things are happening. Your consistent visualization is nurturing these seeds, and in time, they will break through the soil into the sunlight. Now that we've seen how visualization works its magic, let's talk about how you can apply it in real life. It's like having a Swiss Army knife in your mental toolkit, ready to help in various aspects of your life. First up, health. As we talked before, your mind can help heal your body. There's science behind it. For example, athletes use visualization to enhance their physical training. They picture themselves perfecting their routines, and this mental practice has been shown to improve their physical performance. But it's not just for athletes, anyone can do it. Moving on to wealth and abundance, visualize yourself achieving your financial goals, whether it's earning a higher salary, saving a substantial amount, or even being debt-free. Imagine the feeling of financial freedom, the things you could do, and the peace of mind you'd have. When you regularly visualize financial success, your mind starts to identify opportunities to make these visions real. It could be noticing a new job opening, coming up with a business idea, or making smarter financial decisions. Your mind's focus becomes your reality's magnet. Lastly, let's talk about achieving personal and professional goals. Visualization is like creating a blueprint for your success. Whether it's acing a job interview, learning a new skill, or even improving relationships, visualizing the outcome sets the foundation. Imagine the situation in detail, the setting, the people involved, the conversations, and most importantly, the successful outcome. Feel the emotions associated with achieving your goal. This mental rehearsal primes you for the real thing, building your confidence and preparing you for success. As we wrap up our journey through the world of visualization, let's remember some key takeaways. Visualization isn't just for a select few. It's a power that each and every one of us possesses. It's like having a secret weapon that we all carry around in our minds. We all hold the power of visualization within you. It's as natural as breathing. You've been using it since you were a child, dreaming, hoping, imagining. The only difference now is that you're going to use it more consciously, more purposefully. It's like realizing you've had a powerful tool in your toolbox all along. It's your inherent ability to shape your future, to influence your reality, and to create a life that aligns with your deepest desires.
Yes, sir.
So what are you waiting for? Start using this amazing tool. Set aside a few minutes each day to visualize your goals. Picture your ideal life in detail. The career you want, the relationships you cherish, the health and vitality you deserve. Let these images fill your mind and feel the emotions they bring. And don't just stop at visualization. Combine it with action. Visualization sets the stage, but your actions are what bring it all to life. It's a partnership between your inner visions and your outer efforts. Together, they form an unbeatable team that can take you to heights you've only dreamed of.
Yes, sir.
To sum up the whole discussion, let's reflect on a powerful thought. Norman Vincent Peale once said, "Change your thoughts and you change your world." This simple yet profound statement captures the essence of visualization. Your thoughts have the power to reshape your world, to turn the invisible into the visible, and to bring your dreams into reality. Carry this thought with you as you step into the world of visualization. Remember, your mind is a canvas. What you paint on it today will become your reality tomorrow. We hope you have enjoyed the video. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. Moreover, if you are new and haven't subscribed to the channel yet, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any useful information.
If I died tomorrow, I would want every diabetic, including you, to know this. You might not realize this, but the biological reason why people struggle with type 2 has nothing to do with the amount of carbs or sugar they consume.
So, you don't know future. Isn't that a great thing, fortunately? Suppose you know your entire future, would you not want to commit suicide right now? Huh? Isn't it wonderful that in spite of all your brains, you can't figure what is next moment?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Isn't it wonderful? Have you ever seen a suspense thriller movie? Okay, the whole story is going to take too much time, so I'll just tell you the last suspense part of it, okay? Shall I? No. Why? Because suspense means like this. You go and see the poster, oh, this guy's… I think he's going to do this, that guy's going to do that, oh, this director, most probably this how it's going to go. Then you go inside, see all those still images, then you said, definitely this guy is going to do this, that guy is going to do this, all kinds of projections. You go and sit in the auditorium, first few scenes and said, this is it, he's going to do this, but he did something different. Then you said he's going to do that and he did something different. You said this is going to happen and something else happened. Halfway down the movie you discussed with your friend, last scene is definitely like this. When the last scene came, something totally different happened. Then you come out and say, wow, what a wonderful movie. What you're saying is, if all your predictions go wrong, it's wonderful.
Wow.
If all your predictions
I didn't
come
even
true,
think about that.
it's not good. The movie, different
yes.
happens. Then you come out and say, wow, what a wonderful movie. What you're saying is, if all your predictions go wrong, it's wonderful. If all your predictions come true, it's no good. Then I'm asking, what's wrong with your life? Your life is fantastic.
Right.
You can predict whatever, it all goes wrong, goes wrong, goes wrong. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Only problem is, you lost your ability to enjoy the suspense, that's your only problem. Yes? You want to know the end. You're a match fixer. Yes, you're a match fixer, so don't try to match fix your life. Let's see what the hell happens, huh? Whatever happens, you came here with nothing, you'll go with nothing, so what the hell?
Yes.
The only thing
run
is,
that back. I need to hear
did
that
you
again.
make your life's experience charm? Isn't… So, you don't know future. Isn't that a great thing, fortunately? Suppose you know your entire future, would you not want to commit suicide right now? Huh? Isn't it wonderful that in spite of all your brains, you can't figure what is next moment? Hello? Isn't it wonderful? Have you ever…
Hold on, I gotta hear the rest of this, but I also gotta step away. Hold on, give me 1 second, be right back. I'll play something in the background for y'all though, as usual.
Parents than he would to, say, a rattlesnake. DNA has two strands, so there are nucleotides running up one side and there's nucleotides running up the other side. The bases are what pair in the middle. The bases are held together by hydrogen bonds. The DNA is also twisted in something we call a double helix shape. Portions of DNA make up genes. We can say, for example, that this part of the DNA here makes up a gene. Genes can code for proteins. Proteins have a huge role in expressing a trait. For example, let's consider your own eye color. Human eye color is actually pretty complex. It's determined by many genes. The genes can code for proteins involved in producing the eye color pigment. But proteins coded for by genes, they can play a wide variety of roles besides just your eye color. Proteins are involved in transport, in structure, in acting as enzymes that can make all kinds of materials, in protecting the body, and so much more. We do want to mention that not all genes are used to make protein, and there are parts of DNA that are non-coding. And even though nearly all of your body cells have your entire DNA code, your body cells may only use certain portions of those genes. Genes can be turned on or turned off by a variety of mechanisms. We call that gene regulation.
Okay.
Check out our video on that. Now, you have a lot of DNA. When it's compacted, it can be organized into a unit called a chromosome. Very helpful when you're trying to make more cells and you need to get the DNA into those new cells. Chromosomes in your body involve DNA wrapped around protein structures. Humans have 46 chromosomes. That means nearly every body cell in your body has 46 chromosomes. Human sperm and egg cells, on the other…
Seen a suspense thriller movie? Okay, the whole story is going to take too much time, so I'll just tell you the last suspense part of it, okay? Shall I? No. Why? Because suspense means like this. You go and see the poster, oh, this guy's… I think he's going to do this, that guy's going to do that, oh, this director, most probably this how it's going to go. Then you go inside, see all those still images, then you said, definitely this guy is going to do this, that guy is going to do this, all kinds of projections. You go and sit in the auditorium, first few scenes and said, this is it, he's going to do this, but he did something different. Then you said he's going to do that and he did something different. You said this is going to happen and something else happened. Halfway down the movie you discussed with your friend, last scene is definitely like this. When the last scene came, something totally different happened. Then you come out and say, wow, what a wonderful movie. What you're saying is, if all your predictions go wrong, it's wonderful. If all your predictions come true, it's no good. Then I'm asking, what's wrong with your life? Your life is fantastic. You can predict whatever, it all goes wrong, goes wrong, goes wrong. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Right.
Only problem is, you lost your ability to enjoy the suspense, that's your only problem. Yes? You want to know the end. You're a match fixer. Yes, you're a match fixer,
Right.
so don't try to match fix your life. Let's see what the hell happens, huh? Whatever happens, you came here with nothing, you'll go with nothing, so what the hell? The only thing is, did you make your life's experience profound enough, intense enough? That's all there is. What will happen tomorrow? I'll give you a simple thing. The best thing about life is tomorrow never happens. Yes? If you just know how to deal with what's now, you know how to deal with your entire life. This moment, if you know how to manage your thought, your emotion and your body, rest, drama outside happens. But if this is like this will be joyful and wonderful no matter what's the drama around you. Yes? Oh, what if this happens, what if that happens? Yes, all those things can happen. But you came here to experience life, not to avoid life, isn't it? The important thing is, at this stage in your life, you just focus on enhancing this life. Don't worry about what it will yield. You should not worry about what this life is going to yield. What it yields depends on times in which we are, many other aspects of life. But if this is an enhanced life, it will yield something worthwhile.
Every time.
Doesn't matter what it yields. Who knows? Maybe you won't become an artist, maybe you will become an engineer, maybe you will become a doctor, maybe you will become something else, who the hell cares? As long as you enhance this life, something worthwhile will come out of it. This is the time to live. To live means you don't know what the hell is tomorrow.
Right.
Anything. Either you must be excited about it or you can be fearful about it.
Yes,
You're
sir.
fearful about it because you already fixed what should happen.
Yes, sir.
You're afraid what you think may not happen. But first of all, I'm asking you, why are you thinking what should happen? If you're dedicated to the process, depending upon what process we are doing, accordingly life will unfold tomorrow. Yes?
Yes, sir.
There are many dimensions to it. If you explore all of it, if you just explore your biology, life will happen one way. In the sense, if you take charge of your physical self, your body, 15 to 20% of your life and destiny will happen the way you want it. If you take charge of your mind, your thought and emotion, 50 to 60% of your life and destiny will happen the way you want it. If you take charge of your life energies, 100% of your life and destiny will happen the way you want it. This is a choice you have.
Prediction. What's going to happen in the future?
Say, if my whole thing was to make a prediction, then why would we do all this work? It doesn't matter how bleak the situation looks right now, but don't ever underestimate what is in a human heart, what people really want. Don't underestimate that. In 10 years' time, the whole world may just be changed into a complete different possibility, you know? It is just that people need sufficient poking to get them going. But when they get going, you don't know what they can do. They can do something that's never happened on the planet till now, isn't it? Isn't it so? So, don't try to predict future. See what kind of future do you want to create. Why are we always trying to predict future? Instead of predicting future, why don't you set a goal for yourself? Before I leave this world, I will make it at least this good. If all of us set a goal like that, definitely there's a wonderful future ahead, isn't it? We are hoping from the stars some guidance will come. Stars are dumb, inanimate rocks. Okay? You are supposed to have brains and intelligence. They don't have all that. They're just far away, but they're just dumb, unintelligent rocks. If you are conscious every moment of your life, well, you wouldn't want to waste one moment doing something that doesn't mean anything to you. You would do only what truly matters to you. If all of us were doing only what genuinely matters to us, we will be living in a fantastic world, pandemic or no pandemic.
The compound urolithin A seems to act similarly as exercise would.
Hitting the gaining control of your car.
Okay, Pops. Yeah. We're back. So we recently filmed the how not to approach a car
Yes.
salesperson,
Yes.
what not to do at a dealership.
Yes.
Then we did role reversal, and now we're going to break down how to approach the deal process.
Yes.
That sounds
How
Good
to-
nostalgia
how to-
part. Good to have
How
you
to
in
take
here.
control, because everything that goes on at the dealership is all about control. It's either the salesperson is controlling how things are going, or the buyer is controlling how things are going. So it's all about control.
And our objective here at Your Auto Advocate
is to teach you as the buyer how to assume and get control.
And honestly, then just have a quicker car buying experience, get a fair
Yeah,
deal. Everyone
yeah.
wins. All right, you want to toss on the headphones and we'll...
For you, I would, and for our audience.
I think we should get like a telestration type thing going on,
Oh,
Pops,
maybe
and-
one day.
and
Yeah,
get
I
you,
feel like Tony Romo. I'm going to call the play before it happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
did film the play, but...
Yeah. Well, you know what? If you did a hidden camera at a dealership, I could tell you what was going to go, just like Tony Romo does.
Ready?
Yeah. Hey,
Mr.
Shefska. You can call me Shefska.
Welcome to Gotcha.
I like this.
And you are?
That was a prolonged handshake. My name is Zach Shefska.
You're kidding. You're a cousin of some kind.
How can I help you? Family in the family. How can I help you?
Well, here's the deal, Zach. I don't have a lot of time today, and today, just so you know, what I would like to accomplish today is I would like to test drive a couple vehicles to make sure I feel comfortable in them.
Okay.
I'm not looking to do any numbers at all, unless, of course, I am so enamored with one of the vehicles after we...
So I just want to pause for a second.
Yeah.
As we were filming that, I was like, is this guy ever going to shut up and let me talk? And it's you taking control.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I like that.
Driving my company and I go, Zach, let's talk numbers. But if I don't say that,
We not talking numbers. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Driving my company and I go, Zach, let's talk numbers. But if I don't say that, we're not talking numbers. You got that? I'm just information gathering today. Is that okay with you?
We got some of the best looking vehicles on the lot. I have no doubt you'll want to talk numbers, but I understand we can take our time.
Okay, because it's, like I say, I don't have that much time today.
Okay, good point. Good
cool.
point.
Cool. What I'm interested in is perhaps a Forester, but I think I might be leaning more towards an Outback.
Okay. Well, why don't we grab a set of keys and you can get in the driver's seat behind both of them.
Sounds reasonable to me. Where do we go?
You go that way, I'll go this way. We'll meet in the middle.
Cool.
This is so much fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's break it down, Dad.
Okay.
So my objective initially was to know what you wanted, so I could then drive the conversation.
Yeah.
You literally wouldn't let me talk. It was perfect.
Yeah. Who had control?
You had control. Even your body language. Like if you go back to this right there.
Yeah.
I can't believe I
Like,
clicked on it
hold
perfectly
up.
the first time.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Right.
Yeah.
Here are the rules I'm
This
setting.
is my space. These are my rules. We're going to play by my rules. If you want to play by my rules, then we can play. You don't want to play by my rules,
out.
we ain't playing. It's really pretty simple.
It is, but I think to have the confidence to do it,
Yeah.
and literally to rewatch that section of the video. I mean, that, if you were going to buy a car, that's how you would approach it.
Yes. I know when I helped my dear friend Lee get his Outback.
Yeah.
The first store we went to was a Toyota store, and the salesperson came out and greeted us outside, and he was all excited and everything. And I said, "Here, I'm gonna cut to the chase for you. I'm gonna make this real easy for you." Lee, my friend, this is his second RAV4, and he's thinking about a third. And he's never bought one from your dealership because he's always gotten a better deal elsewhere. So we're going to cut to the chase. You're going to give him the best deal you can possibly give him so that he doesn't have to go to Tom's River to buy his next car like he did the past two.
Yeah.
And the guy just said, "Oh, okay." I said, "It's all entirely in your hands as to whether or not he's ever going to be a customer at this dealership."
Yep. So it's all about taking control.
Exactly.
Yep.
And you know, the salesperson was on the defensive from that point forward.
Absolutely. Okay,
Yeah.
let's look at the other video because we filmed as if we just got back from
Yes,
the
from our
drive.
test drive.
And I'm determined to get you to talk numbers.
Yes.
But,
Are you struggling getting into and out of your car? A wheelchair accessible vehicle from Ilderton Conversion allows you to ride or drive in comfort.
You loved that car, didn't you?
Okay, I was trying so hard to remember what your line is. Again,
Yeah.
the post-test drive line from the salesperson is...
Yeah, you loved the way the car drove, didn't you?
I just screwed it up so badly.
But the point is, and typically that's a question you would ask at the end of the test drive when you're walking back into the showroom. So, but you know, wherever it is, yes, you loved the way the car drove, didn't you?
I was trying.
Well, you know, you're not used to saying it. It was all right. You know, it was all right. But I didn't. It didn't move me the way I thought it would.
Yeah. So it didn't have everything you needed, didn't it?
I think equipment-wise, it might have had what I was looking for. It just really didn't move me the way I was.
But if we could work out the numbers, you'd take it home tonight, wouldn't you?
I don't know that I love it enough, but yeah, maybe we could take a look at the numbers.
So we can look at, what the worksheet would look like, what your payments would be, the different options we have. We got some good rebates from the manufacturer.
Well,
right now.
that's good to know. That's good to know. I don't know that I'm all that concerned about payments or anything. I think if we do look at numbers, I'm going to want to know your best out-the-door price.
Okay, well, why don't we head over to my desk? I appreciate that you want the out-the-door number, and we'll see what we can do.
We're not going to see what we can do. We're going to need to get to an out-the-door number. I'm just trying to make your life as easy as possible.
I think that qualifying statement you just said, I'm just trying to make your life as easy as possible, is one not to be overlooked. Because, you have empathy for me, the salesperson, and you just want to make it easy as possible.
I want to make it as easy as possible for me. And in the process of making it as easy as possible for me, the buyer, it'll be as easy as possible for you, the seller. But the whole time, you keep throwing shit at me, and it's like I'm like a Teflon wall, and nothing's sticking.
Yep.
Okay? Everything is if I say we're going to do it, not if you say we're going to do it. And even when you say, yeah, but you'd want to go over the numbers, wouldn't you?
Yeah, let's watch that again.
Okay. I still stopped you to say, the only numbers I'm concerned with are the out-the-door numbers. I'm going to want your best out-the-door numbers.
Let's look at that again.
Yeah. I'm going to want to know your best out-the-door price.
Okay, well, why don't we head over to my desk? I appreciate that you want the out-the-door number, and we'll see what we can do.
We're not going to see what we can do. We're going to need to get to an out-the-door number. I'm just trying to make your life as easy as possible.
I felt so defeated right there.
If that's okay with you.
Back to my desk?
All right, I'm in. Let's go.
You can hold my hand. I'll walk you to the desk.
We have fun with this.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I think your Teflon wall expression sums it up really nicely.
You know, a salesperson's job is to throw as much stuff against the wall as he can until something sticks. The buyer's job is to not let anything stick unless they want it to stick. So that the buyer should always remain in control. And the buyer can stop the process at any point to regain control. You know, even if I would have said, "Oh yeah, I want to know what the monthly payment is," and you got all excited and okay, you're gonna, go. I could have still stopped the process and said, as much as I might be concerned about the monthly payment, I'm not even sure I'm going to finance it. Right. I might just pay cash for it. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet.
Yeah.
But it's always about control. Last night, I was watching the Sixers against the Celtics.
Yeah, and NBA basketball.
Yeah, and because I am a big basketball fan, and Doc Rivers during one of the timeouts was talking to the team, and he said, we have to rebound and we have to defend. Rebound and defend. It's really a pretty simple game. We have to rebound and defend. Well, when it comes to buying a car, it's, as the buyer, I have to control the situation. I have to always remember to take the control away from the salesperson and keep it for myself.
And honestly, for everyone involved, that salesperson too, this is the Mario video. This is like Frank, a salesperson at a Jeep dealership in Long Island, donating on our live streams and calling in. It makes their life easier too.
Absolutely. But you just have to be the one that's going to set how it's going to go. Right. And you have to stick to that. And if it means playing your cards close to the vest when the salesperson says, "You love the car, didn't you?" It was all right.
If you like videos like this, let us know, because there's so many different aspects of the deal process that we could film and then break down.
Yes.
And I was kind of joking about the telestration, but I'm not. I'm actually being serious. Like, to telestrate and to show, whether it be like us role playing or if people send us in deals for you to kind of mark it up, I think that's actually going to be really helpful. But let us know in the comments down below. Let us know by liking the video. That also helps us understand what is beneficial and what isn't.
What our viewers and our audience and our members are looking for.
Yeah.
We're here for you. We're here to.
All right, let's watch this.
A lot of people don't know this, but the best way to prevent divorce, stop separation, and win your wife back is not talking about your problems. It's not trying to make your wife happy. It's definitely not seeing a couples therapist. Now, you may be saying to yourself right now, well, if it's not those things, then what is it? But over the past 8 years as a licensed therapist, I've been absolutely obsessed.
How to get your control back in a relationship. This video will be for someone that is really going through a hard time in their relationship and feels like they're losing their partner, or may have already lost their partner. They've asked for space, and you feel like, if I asked you a question, who has more control in the relationship? Who's more empowered in the relationship? Who makes more of the decisions in the relationship? And if the control is on the other end, on the other partner, then there's an unhealthy balance. There should always be a healthy balance of control in relationships, and this is what we're going to talk about today. Hi everyone, I'm Apollonia Ponte, and I'm your dating, relationship, and life coach, and I'm here to help you men understand attraction, confidence, and really what women want, and understand how to better your dating, relationship lives, and your lives overall, so you can maximize the potential to really get what you want. And one of the healthy dynamics we have to remember about having control in relationships is that a sense of entitlement can happen when someone else has more control in the relationship, right? There's a saying and there's a quote that goes something like, we can't treat someone like they're famous, because if we treat them like they're famous, then we become a fan. Do you get it? So here's the thing is, when we start to overgive and when we start to please, we lose ourselves. So we become a fan. A fan chases, a fan follows, a fan idolizes, and a fan admires. But in relationships, why would you be a fan instead of an equal is the question. And so that's what happens and why we lose control in relationships. Now that you know why we typically lose control, and on top of that, we put them on a pedestal and things that I've said in the past, here's how to get your control back in relationships. Number one is you have to take space. And here's the thing, as I see a lot, is in the dynamic of space, we think, okay, Apollonia's told me to take space, so I'm going to take space, but it's not about the space that you're taking. It's about the change that you're making when you do the space and how your mindset has to change. So if you're looking at this relationship as it has to work, she's the best one for me, I'm so in love with her, and I'm gonna lose her, and if I lose her, I don't know what I'm gonna do in my life, and we come from a scarcity mentality, how attractive is that? There's a chase in the scarcity mentality within your own self. So you're coming from a place of lack, and people want other people that desire other things besides them in life. Right. And this is just a natural human psychological thing. And even you watching, the person that's watching wants that too. And that's why sometimes we can feel more attracted to the person that doesn't want us. And here's another thing is, when we give space, we have to understand that this is the time to change our behaviors, which leads me into tip number 2, is change behavior. What did we do in this relationship that gave that other person control? Were we always saying yes? Were we never holding them accountable? Did we not set boundaries? Did we not have any standards and just let them get away with mistreating us, or not calling us when they said they would, or not really positioning us to be great in a relationship? Or what did you do wrong maybe? Did you yell a lot? Did you verbally or physically maybe even abuse your partner? Now, if that is the case, then you don't have control whatsoever. See, when we get into abusive, toxic, manipulative mentalities, it actually comes from a borderline of insecurity. And this is not this is an unhealthy control dynamic. It actually isn't control, it's overpowering with manipulative behavior, but the person that's manipulating thinks it's control. So I just want to clarify with that before we go into another tip. Number 3, in regards to how to get your control back, is you need to change your resources, your environments. What are you doing? Your hobbies. Are you focused? Did you probably lost out on some of this stuff, right? Because you're prioritizing this person. So what's important is that we get that back. What we get back is our hobbies, our priorities. Are we going to the gym like we used to every day at 6 a.m.? Did we wake up? Did we tell her, no, sweetheart, I can't sleep over tonight. I have my training session at 6 a.m. and I got to be there for it. And just really commit to it. No, sweetheart, I can't go out to dinner tonight, but we can do lunch because I have to get my last meal in by 8 because I'm losing 10 pounds. And did we prioritize ourselves? I'm going to be honest. This is one of the most attractive things for me as a woman with my partner, is the fact that he has a dynamic where he puts himself first in a healthy demeanor. I mean, as far as I know, if he's wanting to do something for himself and be healthy or live to the best intentional person in his life, that means that he's also living the best purposely intentional life for our relationship. So he puts himself first, and I respect that. And also it's very attractive as well. And so what we have to do is not only incorporate all these 3 tips that I'm telling you, but understand the root cause of why and how we let go.
Yes, ma'am.
How did our mindset, how did our thoughts relay to us? What did we believe? A lot of times we get into illusional thinking where it's like, this woman is the best woman I've ever had. She's the most hottest woman that I've ever had. So we subconsciously and consciously put her on a pedestal. We've created illusion because she's this hot girl, but then she treats you like shit. Then she's a hot girl that you've never been attracted, could think you can have. So we just want to make this work, even though she treats you like shit, because all we're focused on is she's this hot girl, right?
Right.
Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Here's the thing is we have to get clear on our why. Because just because this woman is a beautiful woman, and maybe you've never given her or had a chance with a girl like this, here's the thing is now you see that you can have a chance with a girl like this. So it's actually rewarding instead of not rewarding, I should say. So what we need to do is figure out the why. And that is very, very important. And all we have to do is take a bird's eye view and figure out, what the heck was I doing wrong? And this is how you will get the control back in your relationship. I encourage you to download my free common mistake ebook that men make when attracting women. I'll put it below in the description box. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, comment below. Give this video a thumbs up and maybe share it with a friend that's going through this. As always, I'll see you in the next video. And remember, you are always loved. Bye for now.
Thanks, girl. Hey, look, hold on. I got to save that one.
How to get your control back in a relationship. This video will be for someone that...
All right. Hold on, wait.
This is how AI optimizes my schedule. This meeting got canceled. Hooray! We didn't really want to go anyways. But now I have a free afternoon and 1,000 things I need to get done, so what should I work on during this time? The way I used to do it was spend the entire afternoon trying to figure that out. But this AI planner does something really powerful. It will tell me the most
Hi, beloveds. It's actions in the world, including your interests. The controlling parent is not supportive of the development of an individual identity, and this is problematic. So we're going to break this video down into two sections. The first section will look at the strategies of the controlling parent, and in the final section we'll look at ways that we can treat with those strategies. How can we deal with them, heal from them, and integrate this toxic action that came or is coming our way. The first strategy used by a controlling parent is that of force. They will be forceful with their words. They will be grandiose in their body gestures, and indeed they can be physically forceful. With their words, they will often be dominant, they will be manipulative, and they will be very clear that they know and you do not. They are in charge, they are the authority, and you don't have any say in this. They'll find ways to make your point of view not valid. But anything that they support or they want to do or their interests, as long as you're on for the ride, the controlling parent is all good for that. So the first strategy is forceful words, grandiose posturing that can also spin out of control into physical force. The second strategy used by a controlling parent is that of manipulation and undercutting your interests. So let's say you're a little kid and you came home from school and you were excited about something new that you had learned and you wanted to participate in it, but your caregiver wasn't so interested in that. They didn't think it was such a good idea. They will start to lay out the reasons why you shouldn't participate, or they won't financially support that extracurricular activity. Whatever it is, they will start to undercut your interest in this. Now, this is very damaging. The reason being, when we discover something that is soul evoking, that is soul expanding, we're enthusiastic. We want to share this, especially with people that are supposed to love us. So we'll come home very excited about something. And then it's the big wah, wah, when the controlling parent undermines that interest. That's the feeling of depression, and it's the feeling of the soul shutting down. So as a little kid, you may have come home very excited, but the controlling parent will try to undermine, and the soul gets dampened, the soul gets shut down. We can even lose hope. Strategy number 3 used by the controlling parent is the silent treatment. Now, this often comes into play when you're a bit older. When you're young, the controlling parent can often use verbal force, this grandiose posturing. They know better and you don't. And then in this next wave of development, as you get older, you're not quite buying the line too much, and you are seeking to establish your identity, so they might start to undermine. As we age, let's say you're going to leave the house. Let's say you're transitioning from high school to university. For controlling parent, this is a devastating transition because they're losing control of that being, i.e. the child, in their house. So the words might be heightened before you go off to university. The words that just stab to your heart, you never forget those awful words. And then inevitably, of course, we'll leave. At some point we leave. At that point, it can turn to the silent treatment. In the silent treatment, let's say you go out in your world, you're at university, or you're starting your career, and you're establishing yourself. You're finding your genuine baseline. You're out of that old environment, and you are establishing or have established who you are. The controlling parent will take this as an affront, and they might try their old strategies of undercutting you, cutting words. You'll share something you're excited about, and in comes the big wah wah. Or
stop asking research questions to ChatGPT. Its answers are not reliable.
When you're sharing your accomplishments or what you're interested in a group gathering, they'll be the one that are just, they're silent. They're stone-faced and silent. And you know underneath they're seething because they take your growth personally. These are the 3 strategies that are used by a controlling parent. Now, if you live with or have had a controlling parent and are no longer living with a controlling parent, we want to know how to treat with their actions. These are misaligned actions. They are toxic actions. We want to know how to treat with them in an empowered way. If you are still living with the controlling parent, get educated. Learn about the strategies of the controlling parent as you're doing on this video, and continue to observe their actions from there. Know that they do take things personally. It is not a reflection of you. It is a reflection of their own pain, their own toxicity, and the trauma that they have experienced in their own life. So take a big step back, get educated, start to observe so you don't get hooked. When you don't get hooked, that cycle with the controlling parent can't be fed. You're observing, you're watching, you're not biting the bait anymore, and you're not feeding that toxic circle. You can remove yourself from the toxic circle and better watch it, and watch the toxic parents spin out, because they will. And if they get too spun out because you're not biting the bait anymore, you have every right to get up and say, I'm going to go now. And you go out for a walk, or you get in a car and you go somewhere else, or you stay overnight with friends. You go anywhere, but where the toxic parent has been repetitively spewing stuff. As people who value love and inclusivity, we will have a tendency to go back time and time again and watch the repetitive behavior of the controlling parent. It is disrespectful, highly disrespectful, and this is toxic. The reason it's toxic is when there is disrespect, consciousness awareness cannot grow. Instead, sadness, manipulation, domination, lower energies are the predominant energies. When you're in a respectful environment with others, consciousness, awareness, intelligence grows. So what I'm saying here is, if you've been in a consistently disrespectful environment, you've observed the repetitive pattern over a period of time, at some point you use your intelligence and you get out. Where do you go? Anywhere except where the disrespect is located. Anywhere else. Strategy number 2. Let's say you're no longer living with a toxic parent and you're visiting occasionally. Maybe it's weekly visits, maybe it's monthly visits, maybe it's quarter holiday visits. When the toxic controlling parent starts to go back to his or her own tendencies, you can try to redirect the topic, redirect it into something more positive. If that doesn't work, again, you can get up and remove yourself from the situation and go talk to other people, right? There's different ways to treat with this. Also, you can simply say, you know, those words, they hurt me. They're hurtful. I feel pain when you share those words, and I can see that you're in pain. Whoa, now, not every parent's going to be able to hear that. Some will. Some will be able to hear it. And if you can possibly start to break open a conversation, I encourage you to do it, but you have to be very careful and very selective of how you go about that, because if it doesn't work out, they're going to turn back and blame you even more. Strategy number 3 with the controlling parent is compassion, love, and respect. If you have stabilized enough in yourself, and you have to be very honest with yourself in this assessment, if you have stabilized on the inside enough in yourself where you feel like you can go back into this environment while being present, while being stabilized with your inner knowing, while being stabilized with your inner teacher, then there's the possibility of going back with compassion, respect, and love. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I have some people that I work with where that approach does work. There's an opening that occurs somehow, often through pain, a death in the family, illness in the family. There's the little crack where light can get in, and amazing things can happen. But you've got to be the one that's stabilized in compassion and love. You are unshakable in that knowing. There are also times when it doesn't work out, and that was the case in my family. I went back with this knowledge that we have and are gaining on this channel. I went back with kindness, with respect, and with love, and guess what? The kinder I became, the more hatred was sent my way. And it just is how it is. It just rolls how it rolls. I can't predict that for you. Only you and your family dynamics can determine the outcome. But don't go back with outcomes. See if you can go back stabilized in respect, compassion, and love, and just see where it leads. Another way to treat with a controlling parent is to limit contact or go no contact. This is a very personal choice, and each of us want to gaze inside deeply to know that this choice is unique to each of us. No one convinces you of this one. It's about you looking inside and knowing what works for you and the circumstances that you're in. In my case, I looked at the situation and I looked at it from all different angles, really 360-degree angles. What about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? And I knew that this was a pivotal decision. I moved away, physically moved away from the environment, but then also I would limit contact to certain times of year, certain trips, just enough, and then I would leave. I also chose not to stay at the primary family home. There was another place I could stay, so we would stay there and then go out and visit my family in measured doses that I knew was just right for us. So we'd go and we'd have that limited contact. In my case, the kinder I became and the more I limited contact, instead of playing into the fiefdom, instead of playing into the party line, there was more resentment. And at that point, because the disrespect continued on, at that point I used my intelligence and got out and I went no contact. I am not saying that that is what you need to do. These are very personal decisions. But a controlling parent, a controlling environment steals your soul. It steals your self-identity. It is something to look at very carefully, and it's something to navigate through very carefully. A controlling parent is a toxic parent. Why? Because they do not honor our basic desire for freedom. That's a base desire. And you are a sovereign soul with your own interests, your own identity, your own skills. Because the controlling parent does not honor you as a sovereign, free individual. It can be very depleting. We can develop low self-identity, and indeed, depression can follow. I hope this video is helpful. Please leave your experiences in the comments below, and I'll look forward to seeing you.
All right, let me put my filter on. No, we just watched the whole video.
So, you're a
on
creative.
Has Kyrie texted you back?
I don't want to talk about it.
How was the math test?
Don't want to talk about it.
You need to talk to somebody. I talked to my Talkspace therapist.
Can't afford it. And still, don't want to talk about it.
Talkspace is super affordable, with or without insurance.
When you're asked, what's it like growing up? Is your immediate feeling one of warmth, support, or wholesomeness? Or do you suddenly feel a little tense, remembering consistent criticism, feeling shame, or being a scapegoat for everything? That parental relationship could be troubled and toxic, which would leave you even now feeling confused, maybe anxious or lost. We get that entertainment sources out there show nothing but the toxic turned gold story of parenting, and we're here to shed some truth on that. Namely, that reality isn't like that, and you aren't obligated to believe the Hollywood fantasy. Hopefully these next bits of truth will help all of you out there find some hope, or at least a starting point to healing. Number 1, accept that they won't change. Quick, picture ideal parents in your mind. We're willing to bet that, details aside, the ideal parent loves their children unconditionally, meeting their child's needs with all their actions firmly set to benefit the child. Toxic parents don't do this. They often don't even come close to meeting the child's needs for love and support, which has a lasting, damaging impact. Even the idea that parents would willingly do this is abhorrent, so we hold on to the belief that once we become adults and succeed or present evidence of what they've done, those parents will be remorseful, changing their whole mindset. This expectation will provide nothing but disappointment. In fact, you may have already tried and been let down. So you thought, maybe next time if I do this one thing. Stop. It won't be the next time or the time after. You know why? Because it's not you that's the problem. They won't change, and that is neither your obligation nor responsibility. Those needs for love and affection weren't met by your parents as a child, and they won't be as an adult. So let it go. Yeah, sing it if you need to. The good news is, though, you don't need them to do it for you. You can meet those needs yourself from another source of your choice. This will allow you to have a different relationship with your parents based on reality and not wishes. Number 2, you are the master of your own happiness. Your parents do not decide your happiness. They aren't the happy key, whereby if only you had that secure relationship, you'd be happy. If you're banking on this, you've given them all the power, and it doesn't belong to them. It's yours. Yes, we naturally desire certain things. However, we are the only ones who get to decide if that is something that is a part of our happy. Happiness is, and always will be, an inside job. Number 3, acknowledge that you are not at fault for your childhood pain. Toxic parents manipulate, and a part of it is convincing the child that all the abuse is their fault. That's not true. Perhaps they implied or outright said that if you hadn't done this thing or acted that way, they would never have gotten angry, would never have been forced to abuse you. They're leaving out that if it wasn't that thing, it would have been something else. The abuse is because of their defect, not yours. Their inability to deal with their own shortcomings is why they blamed you. It wasn't your fault then, and it isn't now. Number 4, you are not irreparably broken. When your past haunts you, it's easy to slide into the belief that the childhood wounds will never heal, forever thwarting your ability to have a healthy relationship. All right, Morpheus time. What if we told you that it's perfectly possible to heal? The caveat is that, well, it's going to take effort on your part. We understand it won't be easy. However, the fact that you recognize the trauma is affecting you and your ability to form a healthy relationship means you're already practicing self-awareness. You see the issue and know it. If you know what it is, you can grab the little monster and deal with it. Like, reach out to a professional for effective guidance. For example, talk therapy helps you process your past and increase your level of self-awareness. And number 5, forgiving them is not required for healing to begin. As much as we all may gripe about adulting, there is one advantage. You have the capacity and freedom to care for yourself. Your nurture, comfort, and improvement are no longer dependent upon your parents. You are not required to forgive what they did. You do need to acknowledge that it happened, though, so you can squeeze the release clasp, stopping their garbage from dragging you down. Having toxic parents may start in your childhood, but you're not obligated to let it haunt and guilt you for the rest of your life. Grasp your identity. Allow yourself to acknowledge your strength to accept what happened and heal. You are no longer a child, and they do not decide your future. Did any of these tips surprise you? Do you recognize any of this in others? Please discuss, comment, and give us a
All
like.
right, y'all.
Catch you next time.
We gonna get up out of here for the day. This is another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm glad I can bring it to y'all the way that I do, like nobody else could. Hold on, y'all. I'm in the middle of this game. Trying not to lose, but don't really care if I do. Get that out of here. Alright, there we go. This has been another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. This is DGTA TV. I'm going to holler at y'all tomorrow. I'm glad y'all joined me. Peace.
So that's the group out there for Charlotte. 6 on the shot clock.
A gem cannot be polished without friction,
Yes, sir.
nor a man perfected without trials. A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary. We should not, like sheep, follow the herd of creatures in front of us, making our way where others go, not where we ought to go. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We live only now. Everything else is either past or is unknown. You are lonely, not because no one needs you, but because you care about who is next to you. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. Learn from who you were. Appreciate who you've become, and carefully invest into who you want to be.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, and we up out of here for the day. So let's get this topic started. In here. So we pushing the limits on finding our way or navigating our way through life. Let me get you over to the chilling scene. We're going to push these limits. We looked at some of the new technology yesterday on Tech Tuesday, and I like tech. It is what it is for the most part, and I'm privileged, cursed and privileged, if we take what my man was saying about exchange. It's all an exchange, to have seen all of it, from the old to the new to the latest now, to from the oldest in the back in the day, and watching it grow. The electricity shift and change and grow the way that it has been a privilege for me. I really look at it that way only because I got to have Super Nintendo. Let me see. Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation. All of these devices TVs, flat screen TVs, and I know that everyone didn't get it. Everyone hasn't had that privilege around the world globally, from my knowledge and from my perspective. So yeah, I'm glad to have been able to access and use it. Has it made me or the best person in the world? No. Has it made me the worst person in the world? No. I would like to think that it's just been a part of my world. That's all. It's just been something that's been here, just like grass has been here. Um, and you can't stop the electricity one way or the other. It comes in the form of lightning if you want to be as basic as you can go. But the way we've done it, um, from having a horse pulled carriage to driving electric cars, hey, I get around. I get around because of it, and I want to say thank y'all for thinking of it. Anyway, so today we are going to keep on pushing the limits with using and building tech of our mind. So there's some basic devices, and I want to look it up more so on YouTube and see what YouTube University say about it than my own wording. But I'll tell you this: there's devices of your mind that you use every single day, and they could empower you and they could destroy you. Just like your car took you to the to the party that night that you got drunk, and you was like, man, I wish I never drink that. You know what I'm saying? So your car ain't do nothing wrong. It just did what you told it to do. It drove you to where you wanted to go. So I really think that when we looking at the pushing these limits, we should look at the devices that we use every day, like remembering. That's a device of our mind. How you